I imagine at some point at your time at the table, you have had the conversation with friends or fish alike about how awesome it would be to be able to run your own poker live stream. Well, I made that dream become a reality in my own poker home game, and I'm going to tell you everything that you need to consider if you want to run your own poker live stream. Now, the very first thing that you're going to need is a way to read the player's cards. And all of your favorite poker live streams that you watch on the internet are all done on an RFID poker table with an RFID chipped deck of cards. It's actually not that hard to implement into your own existing table if that interests you. And I do have a list of shorts on my channel if you're interested in seeing how I put this table together specifically. If you have been following this channel for a while, you may have noticed that this table has gone through quite a bit of variations, and we needed to get to the point where I could have a removable felt to be able to easily access every single player sensor, because every little sensor is connected with a very small wire that is fed through a channel to the motherboard, which also acts as the community card reader. And that is how we get all of these awesome player graphics that you see on the screen. So I know this tablet has certainly caught your eye, and I'm just going to quickly show you what it's actually used for. So this is the Action Tracker tablet, and you'll see that there's a couple different options on here. You'll see up at the top here, we have the player sensors, and that basically just will turn blue once the player cards have hit their sensors. We have the option of changing player names. We have the options for straddles, and down here where the numbers are, you'll see those are the stack sizes. And we have the option for small blind, big blind, even a third blind, bomb pots, antes, and minimum chips. And we even have options for different variations of poker. We have Omaha, Pineapple, 7-card stud, but most of this is only available on the Pro version, which I do not have. And if we go down to settings, you'll see that you can set limits, you can set different antes, button antes, big blind antes, and it will track everything that you need. So if we move into an actual hand here, you'll see that we have all the options for the players to fold, call, to raise two, or to shove all in. It also shows whose turn it is, as well as the effective stack that that player has behind. It's actually very useful, especially if somebody shoves all in. I'm able to tell them immediately what they have in their stacks, and it tracks it very well. And this is what tracks all of the action that you guys see for the graphics on TV. So the most common question that I get about this tablet is, can't you see the players' cards? And the answer is no. You cannot see what the players have because all of that information is being fed directly from the table via USB to my computer on a green screen that is being overlaid onto video for the live streams. That is the only way you're going to be able to find out what players have, and you cannot see any of that information on this tablet. Otherwise, I would not have it at the table. The next thing you need to consider if you want to run your own poker live stream is you're going to need a way to capture the game itself. Now, if you haven't looked into camera gear before, you will quickly realize that that stuff is not cheap at all. Even just buying a couple cameras will throw you over budget quite quickly. And I've managed to figure out a cheaper option by using old cell phones that I had lying around the house, as you can get 4K quality from most cell phones nowadays. Now, for live streaming, I am limited to 1080p, and with the small sensors in the phone cameras, the quality isn't really up to par, but we're making it work for now. Cameras are not just the only thing that you need to consider if you want to run your own live stream. You're going to need other accessories like lights, tripods, or a way to capture audio, just as a few examples.
And one thing you're going to need is some broadcasting equipment. We have here the Blackmagic A10 Mini Pro camera switcher, which essentially just allows me to switch to my different angles live. And it also has some audio inputs as well as a recording function that will record on all 4 of my cameras at the same time. And it will create it into different files to be able to use that raw footage later if I want to pick out a certain hand to put onto YouTube. Now, obviously, you're going to need some generic poker supplies if you want to run your own poker live stream. You can use any kind of generic poker chip that you can find on the market because remember, all of that action for the graphics is being tracked on the Action Tracker tablet that is at the table. Each individual chip do not have RFID identification in the chips. The cards, on the other hand, do have RFID chips in them. This RFID deck cost me $140 Canadian each to my door. And I warn you, this deck only lasts around 500 hands before some of the chips stop working. I've had a deck stop working at around 70 hands. So that's an expense that you need to consider if you're going to run your own live stream. The last thing that you want to consider if you want to run your own poker live stream is you're going to need a lot of dedicated time and help. While I've managed to run most of this stuff by myself, it is becoming quite apparent that I need some help. I've now got to the point where I had to find somebody to deal and run the Action Tracker tablet while I'm taking care of all the live streaming and live camera switching. Now, something that we've also not considered is the live commentary and not being in the same room as the players that are playing. It's a problem that I haven't quite figured out yet, but we are working at that to hopefully fix for the future. So thank you everybody for the support. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure to put them down below. Like and subscribe, and we'll hope to see you guys in the next live stream. I'm your host and commentator, Dave Frazier, signing out. Good night.